More than a dozen states in the books, voter turnout among Democrats is significantly lower this election cycle than in 2008. Republicans, meanwhile, are heading to the polls in record numbers. There's been no shortage of theories for this, including one named Donald Trump. So joining me now to sort this all out is Huey-Burns, political reporter for Real Clear Politics. Thank you, Caitlin, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good to see you.
I want to break down both sides of this story. It's certainly a tale of two cities. And full disclosure, we know that voter turnout during the general election would obviously be higher than the primaries. But that doesn't take away from the fact that we are seeing different scenes on both sides. So tell me what you're noticing among GOP voters, especially the states that have already voted.
Oh, sure. Well, Republican turnout is very high, especially in these primaries. And as you mentioned, Donald Trump, of course, is a big factor. This is also an extremely competitive race on the Republican side. You have several candidates still in the mix. Of course, Donald Trump has brought national attention for a long time, sustained attention to this race. And so you have lots of people tuning in and lots of people feeling compelled to participate in this election because of its magnitude and also because of how competitive it truly is. So I expect these numbers to really keep up as we continue on. And the more candidates remain in the race, I think the more competitive it will remain as well.
That's what I was going to ask you, because, you know, we had 17 candidates and now we have 4. So are we going to continue seeing this momentum and this drive to get to the polls, or is it going to diminish because 4 is not 17 and we're not seeing that huge field?
Right. I could see a couple of different scenarios. One, if Donald Trump continues to win, I think if he continues to be on his way to winning the necessary delegates, I wonder if voters will kind of look at the polls and say, you know, in their respective states, you know, he figures to win, should I show up anyway? But on the other hand, you have these other candidates rivaling Donald Trump, wanting to prevent him from winning the necessary delegates, really encouraging their respective bases and constituents to turn out in these states that are holding primaries. We have one today, of course, on March 15th will be a big one, and also this coming Tuesday on March 8th in Michigan and some other states. So if Donald Trump starts to secure the nomination, I think we may see activity maybe wane a little bit, but as long as these other rivals are keeping the pressure on, I think the voters will be compelled to turn out. And there is such an anger and frustration in the electorate, as we know. People really want to voice their frustration. So going to the polls, of course, is a way to do that.
Okay, I do want to talk about the Democrats as well. That, however, like we talked about, is a very different story. We're not seeing the same turnout as we did in 2008. In fact, every state except Colorado, a state which Sanders won, the voting is down. In 2008, Hillary Clinton tried to take on the momentum. She took on Barack Obama, but now she is trying to be his successor. So how does she get that momentum that we saw in 2008 and channel it?
Right. I think that it will continue to be a challenge. As we know, turnout is lower on the Democratic side. I do think that is in part result of it not being as competitive a race as we're seeing on the Republican side. Hillary Clinton has been leading in polls in various states. We saw a lot of momentum and excitement, of course, in the beginning of this primary, and now there are many states she figures to win, and she had pretty much a blowout on Super Tuesday. And so I think her challenge is to really continue campaigning and to get people excited about her campaign. I think as much as she is building upon the president's coalition, really bringing in diverse components there, but she also really needs to mobilize the youth vote. Millennials and young voters have been tuned into the Bernie Sanders campaign. I think Hillary Clinton in the general election will really need to mobilize those supporters. And if the general election, as you mentioned earlier, is as competitive as we're seeing on the Republican side, I think that will help to boost turnout on the Democratic side as well.
Okay, we only have about 10 seconds left, but I've heard a number of Democratic pundits say that primary turnout does not represent the general election turnout, so they're not necessarily concerned. They feel like there's going to be a flood of people coming out on the Democratic side. Agree or disagree?
I agree, but it depends. It depends on what the matchup looks like. I think Democrats will be extremely mobilized if Donald Trump is the nominee, but I think it could be, perhaps more difficult if there is another contender or two.
All right, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.